Thank you, Rob. I'm giving you a 3.8. Could have easily been a 4 if you hadn't laid it on so thick when you got to the walking on water part. Actually, it was Phoebe, not Kay. I want to thank Bill for blazing the trail. I want to thank my classmates for nominating me, particularly Shane Adams-Waite, Larry Lowenstein, who got the Rhodes Award 12 years ago, and Barbara Wall Tate, who's the president.
Hardly.
She was the only 43 Phi Beta Kappa who could make it here today. Whatever I didn't do for Ezra, I didn't do for Andrew, and not for Willard or for Golden. I did it for the great people I met on the Hill in the 40s, and others I met at reunions afterwards. In 1944, I met at the Sun Kurt Flanagan, and within the last month, I mailed off to Elaine Angst at Cornell Library 82 pieces of correspondence spanning 60 years between myself and Kurt. And it was this late spring of 2001, and Kurt and I were having lunch in New York, bemoaning the state of the planet, and particularly our nation. And I said, where did we get this arrogant nincompoop? And Kurt said, Yale. And Steve Hawley, I met at subsequent reunions, and Steve and I attended the Bull and Dagger Luncheon, breakfast actually, last summer, and I think and President Phil Miller passed around a microphone, and we reached to stand, state our name, what we did on the Hill, and what we did afterwards. And Steve was on my right, and he said that at Cornell he had played polo. He went off to war, and when he returned, he raised lots of sweet corn, and lots of horses, and lots of children in western New York. And he handed me the mic and sat down. And I said, Steve neglected to mention that for more than 20 years he served in the New York State Legislature and was only one prostitute short of becoming governor. Class correspondent, I had many editors, one of whom served the entire tour of duty. That was Mary Louise, who had the uncanny ability to recognize what was merely bad taste and what was so outlandish that Miller, if you send that in, divorce. Well, I guess I didn't send it in because in September, if we make it, it'll be 67 years. And I remember Elsie Hancock and Elsie McMillan, sometimes spelled by Sharon Dragaskis, and my president editor and collaborator on the condominium whatever it is, compendium of memoirs of the class of 43, in which we got 156 80-year-old people to write their memoirs and published them. And Adele is by far the most straight-laced of them all. My 2005 January, February column began. Mildred Cudmore Rafaj writes that she and Paul have been married for 41 years and no children. And I added, don't look at me, Mildred. And Adele said, we can't print that, nor is it a family magazine. Well, what the hell, Adele? You know, the Hefner family puts out a magazine. So David, if I'm running over, this might be a good time to see what you can cut. An old man is walking along the beach and stubs his toe on what turns out to be the top of a log. And with great exertion, he manages to extract the log from the sand. He pulls the cork, and out pops a genie. And the genie says, wow, what a relief. I've been in that bottle for 200 years. You can have any wish you want. And the old man takes a piece of paper out of his pocket, unfolds it, and he says, this is Israel. Can't open it. This is Israel. And surrounded by its enemies. Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, Iraq, Iran. I would like to see peace in my time in the Middle East. And a genie looks at the map and he says, you know that enmity goes back thousands of years. And that chasm is so deep and so wide that even I can't bridge it in the few years you have left on this earth. And he hands him back the map and says, I would like you to make another wish. And the old man says, I would like you to help Chris Marshall achieve universal free subscription to every alumni and every surviving spouse. And the genie says, let me see that map again.